going on? So, I wanted to do a continuance on Teofimo Lopez shockingly announcing his retirement from boxing. Uh, as you guys know, Teofimo Lopez defeated Josh Taylor soundly in that fight. Many people had it basically best case scenario for Tiafimo, 9 rounds to 3. Worst case, 8 rounds to 4. I had it 8-4 in favor of. What's up? I had it 8-4 in favor of Tiafimo Lopez. You can pretty much say, like I said, after the after the third round, it just seemed like um, Tiafimo like just went on a tear. He just went out on a tear. He figured Josh Taylor out early. So, I would have to go back and watch it again, but Tiafimo clearly won that fight decisively. He clearly won 8 rounds, and like I said, he hurt Taylor a couple of times, and he hurt Taylor towards the end. He almost dropped Taylor a couple of times, so you do got to give Taylor credit for uh, basically holding up because Taylor grabbed him towards the end of the fight, and it looked like he was almost about to touch basically about to touch the ground, and he held on basically to keep him from getting dropped. But Teofimo Lopez fought a great fight. Um, Many people picked Josh Taylor to win that fight. Me myself, I was leaning towards Josh Taylor. You know, I said it was. Keep in mind, I said it would probably be 55-45 in favor of Taylor, but it wouldn't surprise me if Teofimo Lopez won the fight. I'm not surprised Teofimo won the fight. I was I was more worried about Teofimo's. I was more worried about his mental state going into that fight because just the way he was talking about he wanted to delete Josh Taylor and all that kind of stuff. But he ended up, to me, getting in Josh Taylor's head because Josh Taylor, I say this and I say this once again, you don't want to go into that fight extremely, um, extremely determined to get a knockout. Josh Taylor was saying he's gonna knock him out, and Josh Taylor, to me, he, like I said, he was missing bad too, especially with the hook. I mean, he was trying to throw the blind hook. Basically, the blind hook is when you turn your head and you throw it and hoping that it connects. And when you saw him missing badly like that, that means like, yeah, Teofimo then figured him out. Teofimo started to showboat and all that kind of stuff. I found it kind of funny. I kind of funny that when Teofimo and guys like Lomachenko showboat a little bit, nobody have a problem with it. But when the brothers do it all of a sudden, you need to conduct yourself in a professional manner, which I don't care about that one way or another. But just watching the fight as a whole and watching Teofimo performed very well. He was slipping punches and countering. Teofimo showed his ability to counter punch and land big shots, let off combination picket spots, and that was just the difference in the fight. There was no controversy about who was winning the rounds. There was no swing rounds in that fight. Either Taylor clearly won the round or Teofimo won the round. And that was just basically it. And Teofimo clearly won at least eight of the rounds, to me, in my eyes. So keep in mind, I was doing a stream basically following the fight. And I basically went live, basically said who I thought won the fight. And I think that scorecards was a little bit close for my taste, but at the end of the day, the right guy won. I think one guy had it 117, if I'm not mistaken, 117, and maybe I think it was maybe 117, 111, something like that. And two of the judges had it 115, 113, in which they had it 7 rounds two of the judges had it 7 rounds to 5 in favor of Teofimo Lopez. Um, wasn't that close. I'm sorry, and I'm just keeping it a buck. It would be very difficult to find 5 rounds to give to Teofimo Lopez. This is the same as Canelo versus Bilbo. This is the same as Vasily Lomachenko and Devin Haney. Like I said before, besides the 10th and 11th round, what rounds you could clearly give Lomachenko? And it was funny. I spoke to Bill Haney last night. I'm talking about it was late night. It was like maybe 2:30 in the morning and stuff out there. So, after the fight was over, Bill was telling me some things, like I said before, which I can't say as of right now, but I know what the next move for Team Haney is going to be. So, yeah. Well, that's a I'll speak on that later on. But anyway, like I said before, I know exactly what's gonna happen with Devin Haney. But as I said before, I've been sworn to secrecy, and then I know some other things. Uh, I know some other things that's gonna be going on. I know about a lot of upcoming events that's coming up, which people trusted me not to say. So, I'll put it to you this way. There is a possibility, if everything goes correct, there's going to be some more bigger fights made this year in the coming months. So you will see some big fights. So just stay tuned. But yeah, just stay tuned. But as far as like I said, as far as Teofimo Lopez retiring, listen, I just want to say this. If you are not a father and you going through a custody battle, I went through something similar to this with my son's mother, where basically she got into an argument with my mother, and she basically tried not to let me see my son. I hope he isn't listening, because he was very young, but he probably is. But, at the end of the day, these type of things happen. But, I went through this, and, when my son was very young, I had to go back and forth to court, to make sure I kept my visitations intact, and make sure actually, that I, had shared custody. So one thing I had put in place, that basically my son's mother could not move out of state. One thing you wasn't doing, you wasn't taking my son out of state. So, I had to settle some things. But when he said that he fighting for, his son, I understand that. So that's very tough on you, especially, when you can't see your child, and the person is basically denying you basically your parental right. So I wish him the best. Like I said, as far as some of the comments that Teofimo they made about, like I said before, I didn't like him, didn't care for him. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to sit up here and take away from the fact that he fought a great fight last night. He fought a great fight. Nothing to basically speak bad on his performance, because he beat Josh Taylor. He beat him. He beat him decisively. Now, what's next for Josh Taylor, which a lot of people was talking that, in the weigh-ins and stuff, Josh Taylor looked drained. I think it's time for Josh Taylor to move up to 147 and campaign at 147. I just think he can't fight officially anymore at 140. I think 147 is a great option for him. And like I said before, I think one loss doesn't define anybody. But then, to a certain degree, there will be a video about this later on, and you got to ask yourself, did Jack Catterall expose Josh Taylor, because you can make an argument that Josh Taylor should have two losses. A lot of people thought Jack Catterall did enough in that fight to get the nod. But unfortunately for Jack Catterall had to fight. And, if I'm not mistaken, they fought pretty much somewhere in Scotland where Josh Taylor is from. Which I met Jack Catterall, nice guy. Met him a couple of years ago. And then you can make the argument that Taylor kind of ducked the rematch with Catterall. So you can make the argument about that. So now when you look at Jack Catterall is in a good position, because now we have to look at, well, dang, did Jack Catterall give us a blueprint on how to beat Josh Taylor. And then also, quiet as kept, if you go back to the Regis fight was razor thin. I think he won a majority decision versus Regis Prograis. And that fight with Regis was very close. Could have went either way. So in reality, worst case scenario, you can make an argument that Josh Taylor could easily have 3 losses. So, but that doesn't take away from the fact that Taylor is still a good fighter, because he beat a great fighter in Jose Ramirez. Styles make fights. And that's the honest to God truth. But as I said, critiquing the whole fight, I was, talking to a couple of people. And I was just watching the flaws that Taylor was making. Now, Taylor, like I keep saying, if you like a guy that throw a lot of combinations, a lot of times people can time that. And Taylor didn't mix it up. Because like I said, when he would get T.O. up against the ropes, a lot of people spotted what I was spotting, like basically when we was like chilling, at the hotel where the fighters be at, and we was breaking down the fight. You saw Taylor loading up way too much in the fight. And he was swinging badly, so, and missing. And you saw that. And T.O. had got his timing down. And once T.O. got his timing down, T.O. was able to initiate his attack. And you saw at times T.O. was walking him down. And T.O. was picking his spots, and he was patient with his punch selection. When Taylor thought he was going to come with the hook, he had come with a body shot, or he'd come with some combos. When he thought he'd come with the combos, he had come with a lead. Or in that uppercut was really throwing Taylor off. The sneaky uppercut. And that usually, a lot of times when you get hit with that and you don't see it coming, a lot of times it makes you hesitant to like keep coming in. And like I said before, Taylor, another thing, you can clearly see the height difference. Because Taylor's like, you can make an argument, Taylor's about 6 feet tall. And you can see Taylor squinching down also to fight, because it was such a size difference. But like I said before, Teofimo used good footwork. He used, like I said, his defense was solid for most of the part. For the part. So like I said before, now there's sort of like a blueprint on how to deal with somebody like Taylor. So I don't think Josh Taylor is finished. I just think he needs to move up to 147. There's some good work for him up there. Oh, hey, what's going on? Shout out to WCS. Subscribe to his channel. So, like I said before, now getting back to Teofimo Lopez, do I think he's done with boxing. I don't think he's done. I don't think he's done with boxing. It's just hard to believe that somebody would walk away um, at age 25. I mean, you walking away at age 25. I think he just want to get this stuff settled with the mother of his son, and then maybe he'll come back. But I give him all the credit in the world for basically um, focusing on this fight, and he had a lot of us doubting him just the way he was talking because he seemed it did seem at times he wasn't sure of himself, but at the end of the day, he you know what I'm saying? He basically he basically fooled a lot of us. So I mean, we'll see what happens. And by the way, shout out to my correspondent, Kobe. He was there working the fight with me. You know, he had to leave because he had to get back to to Strong Island. But you know, like I said, I held it down, and it was um, yeah. I don't know what it is when I do these New York fights. I can just get a lot of good stuff, but I mean the weather was good to say the least. So um, like I said, I'm just not buying this retirement thing. It's just, and I'm not saying that he's a liar. I know he's went on social media and said that he's retiring, but I'm just saying walking away at 25 when there's a lot of fights out there and a lot of decent money. I know he was sitting up saying that, I'm tired of only getting $1 million per fight. That is something that him and the powers that be at top rank, they gonna have to sit down and figure that out. That's something that they gonna have to figure out. At the end of the day, um, we don't pay Teofimo Lopez flat out salary. I mean, we contribute by watching his fights and going to his fights and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, that's something him and his people need to work out. You know, that's something that he got to work out. He, his father, his management team. That's something that they got to work out. 'Cause like I said, at the end of the day, I don't write the man's paychecks. But at the end of the day, he shouldn't also be sitting up there constantly talking about somebody else. You know, so I'm gonna leave that part alone. That's all I could say concerning that. But as far as the whole retirement thing go, um, walking away at 25 is kind of crazy. I just think he gonna resurface. I think even if he does retire, I think it'll be a temporary retirement at best. Maybe he want to sit out a year and get back in there. Because here's the thing. Now, if I will take his retirement more seriously, if a couple of weeks from now he basically vacates the belts that he won. I think he won the WB. I think he won the WBO and the Ring magazine belt. Now, if he vacates, then I'll start saying, okay, well, maybe he's serious. And you have to ask yourself, how long is the sanctioning body's going to let him be retired if he, holds on to the belts? Now, if he, like I said, if he vacates the belts, then okay, man, then maybe he is out of there. What's my thoughts on Deontay Wilder fighting MMA fighter? Well, it's happened before, so I mean, if the money is right, if it's a $20 million payday for Deontay Wilder, then he should do it. I mean, I can't sit up there and tell him don't do it when James Toney he tried to cross over, even though James Toney tried to do an actual MMA fight. Um, Conor McGregor. And Floyd Mayweather, which by the way, I got a Conor McGregor story. Conor McGregor might be in trouble again, and once again, Conor McGregor can't seem to control himself. But nevertheless, if if the bag or should I say, if there's enough zeros on the paycheck, then he should do it. I mean, I can't sit up there and say this is a ridiculous idea when you constantly got MMA fighters trying to box. You got Nick Diaz taking on Jake Paul. So like I said, I think what's going on with Wilder, quad is kept. This is my own personal assessment. I don't I don't have any inside information, but um, Wilder to me probably wants to get at least some kind of work in because his last fight was in October of 2022, um, and he probably want to get some kind of work in. You probably want to get some kind of work in because you don't want to sit around. And Wilder's in his late 30s now, so Wilder want to get some work in because I don't think he's gonna solely bank on Anthony Joshua because Anthony Joshua is known for changing his mind, and he is probably afraid. Well, Anthony Joshua might pull out of the fight, get cold feet, and then basically, it's gonna been a year since I've been out of the ring. So I do think Wilder should try to take a fight. But the problem is we in the summer now, so now you thinking to yourself, Wilder would have to try to at least negotiate a fight and try to get in the ring as early as maybe September, and then you thinking, okay, if he can get in the ring in September, then if there is gonna really be an Anthony Joshua fight, which is supposed to take place in December, that would at least be two fights in 2023 for Deontay Wilder. But if basically nothing happens with Deontay Wilder till December, well, it'll be a year and some change since Deontay Wilder been out the ring. And if you Deontay Wilder, I think Deontay Wilder is 36, 37. You kind of want to stay a little bit, you want to kind of stay active because you never know when, basically the clock starts, basically, going a lot faster. He might age. So he may need to get back in the ring. You just never know how somebody's body is. So, that's just basically my thoughts on that. I think if he can pull it off, then yeah. But he needs to decide right away because, like I said before, we're in the second week of June. So I'm saying, how quick could he arrange for this to happen? So that's basically it. Well, if it's a full-fledged boxing match, you got to understand, you got to favor Deontay Wilder in his right hand. Now, if this is some kind of exhibition, then who knows where it doesn't go against Wilder's record. If this is something that he want to do, is at least get some exercise and get some work in, sort of like a high octane sparring match or something, then yeah, like I said before, the man needs to get back in the ring, and that's just real talk. But anyway, you guys, be back later on with more. I'm out.